Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I'm just going to talk very briefly about something that I realized. And I can say that maybe it is a generational curse, but I also just realized that it's definitely something that's plaguing our communities. Excuse me. One of the things that I realized is that we have no role models. Like, there are literally no role models in our community. And I think that sometimes being a role model, it comes with a lot of responsibility. So honestly, I feel like anybody who's carried a lot of responsibility their whole lives, it's for a purpose. And I think that that level of strength has been given to you so that you can pass it down to others and be a source of light to others. The sad truth is that I can only speak for young women. I think we know it's very evident when it comes to older men. But the truth is that when people are in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s and so forth, the sad part is that so many people today, and even with all of this information being readily available, are still making the same decisions as the ones who have failed us, right? Who have gone before us and failed us. And this is the repetitious cycle in our community, especially in the Black community. I'm Black, so I can only talk about what's going on in our community. But I just realized that when it comes to the people who are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, the sad truth is that they've let us down. And because the reason is because people don't watch what you say, they watch what you do. Okay. And I even have recognized this in my own life. It's just so sad how people are of a certain age, in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and we're looking at them to make better decisions so that we in our 20s and in our adolescent years and even as young children can have a way in which we go. You know what I mean? And the sad truth is that you have people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who are still acting like they're in their 20s or still making the same mistakes as you. How you're like 40 and you're making the same mistakes as me and I'm 20. You see what I mean? And this is the problem. And I think this is one of the things that I'm most passionate about, because I just really feel as though it's so venomous. It's so poisonous and we can't move forward. The sad truth is that so many people just feel so shamed and burdened by their mistakes that they don't feel like they can actually be a role model. I'm here to tell you right now, everybody has a past. Everybody's got things they've done that they weren't so proud of. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, you guys, please step up if you really do feel like you're called to be like a role model and you've always had a passion for leadership. You know what I mean? Because this is really plaguing our communities. And until we actually make the difference, and the thing is, the ones who are going to make a difference are the ones who are listening. You know what I mean? And when I say listening, I mean you are the person who has always been someone who's carried a lot of responsibility. That's because you're a role model. You know what I mean? And it's something that you need to really own and be thankful for. It's such a blessing. You are a game changer. You know what I mean? See that as your light and the path in which you need to take, and let God guide you, because there's many blessings on that path. I think the problem today, and I can't even say today, I think the problem just in general is that humans are just selfish. I think that we are just programmed. So many people are just programmed to only think for themselves. I personally, being the eldest of 6, I have never been able to think for myself. I've never had a moment where it was just me, right? I watched my siblings grow up. My mother, that situation, pretty much being there for my mother. My mother was a young mother. So, I've never really got that chance to, you know what I mean? So it's really sad to see. It's really sad to see, because at the end of the day, this is needed, you guys. This is so needed. And so it's how can we learn? This is why we're all so stuck and struggling. And it's the ones who do reach that position, maybe they're not called to it. The women who are making the money and they're doing the things and they have the successful marriages or whatever. Maybe they're not called to it, or maybe they didn't do the work. I feel for me, being a better version of myself is being a better version for my community, is being a better version for, it's being the best for my community. It's being the best for the people around me. It's so much bigger than me. My vision has always been bigger than me in any circumstance. And even when plans have changed for me, my vision has always remained. And I think one of the problems, another thing too, is we have so much emulation. I do think that when it comes to emulation, it's cute. I think imitation is quote unquote the greatest form of flattery, right? But the truth is that you were called to be unique, and I think so many people are just looking to the lefts and the right of of the lives of so many others, and you have no clue what it is you're supposed to be doing. You have no clue what your path is. This is why I highly encourage so many people to get offline. Like, I don't care what you say. This is something that I don't even really care to rebuttal, but it infuriates me when so many people think that they're so strong and so independent. We are products of our environment. So the truth is, sweetheart, if you're constantly looking at certain things, if you're constantly around certain people, you're going to become them. It's so funny how we only want to apply this principle when we're talking about millionaires. Oh, if I'm in the room with 4 millionaires, I bet you I'll be the fifth. Yeah, but if you're in the room with 4 bums, you're going to be the fifth. I don't know why people don't realize that. It's because here's the thing, you guys, we're spiritual. Energy is contagious. It's all contagious. Like, you're going to become that regardless of what you think, unless you make a conscious decision. But the truth is, let's just be 100. Many people are not even that deep to even think that much. Most people don't think at all. If you ask me, quite frankly, I can't tell you how many people I've run across that are just so negligent to thought and to everything. Most people don't think about anything, quite frankly. So, that's not the vast majority of people. I'm just being honest. Like, call it, it is what it is. Anyways, you guys, you're letting down your community. You're letting down the people around you. And personally, I've never been the type of person to look at people and say, oh, this person is just helpless. I look at all the people who need to be held accountable before them. You're selfish. You went forward and made mistakes and made decisions, just so negligent to what? You know what I mean? Because you don't have a vision. You need to talk to God, because you have no clue what you're doing. You're out here lost in the sauce. You have no clue, and it's so easy to get lost in the sauce. So get offline, figure out what's for your life. Get real with yourself, man. Like, when I talk about trauma and things like that, listen, honey, I've paid my dues. It's been a long journey and it's continuous. And now, I realize for myself, there gets a point when it comes to like trauma and all of those things, you guys, you really just have to be in a space where you learn how to manage it and you learn how to overcome it. And you have to learn when to give things to God as well. I knew for myself, I had reached my cap with certain things. I had to give it to God, and yes, I did have to put forth effort. So I started exercising, and I did actually ended up going to therapy, you guys. Yes, I am in therapy, So for me, and honestly, my reasons for going to therapy was a little different. I really wanted to go to therapy because I've never been one to have a lot of friends. Like I said, I have a lot of older people around me who are in the same situation as me. They're making the same mistakes. And that's not really their fault necessarily, but hey, we have to be responsible for our lives. So I didn't really have anybody to come to. I didn't have a role model. I didn't have anybody to like talk to guide me in that sense. And so what I needed, because I was such a leader and I'm so independent in my thinking and I'm a very strong individual, I actually did need a sense of validation. Now, hear me clearly when we talk about validation. I'm actually going to touch on this really quickly, because what people have to understand, and this is why I dislike social media, because so many messages are misconstrued and people have no understanding. People just see things, run with it, and they have no understanding of what that means, or they can't even wrap their heads around it fully. You guys, when it comes to validation, everybody needs validation. Like, that is just a human need. That's a basic need. We need to be validated. We need to feel like we belong, right? Everybody wants to be validated. You want to be validated for your thoughts. You want to be validated for when you put in extra hours at work. You want someone to say, hey, good job today. And you're going to feel a lot better about it. And that's going to make you want to do it even more. That's just what it is, So I don't want to hear about we don't need validation. We do. The problem is when we start to seek entirely too much validation and we're not really validated within ourselves. That's where it becomes a problem. So that's why for me, I had to go to therapy, because I grew up, I didn't have friends. I didn't have like any role models. I didn't have anybody I can talk to, like a woman, you know what I mean? For me specifically, like a woman, I didn't have that sense of connection. So I knew for me, I needed to connect with people. And I also had lost like a sense of trust within myself from making some decisions in the past, So, I just had to really rebuild myself. And I also wanted to change some things about myself. And so personally, it was like I wanted to do something new. And honestly, I kind of wanted to experience it. So overall, my reasons for going to therapy was because I needed like a sense of a support group, because I didn't have that. So that was my reason for going to therapy. But your reasons can be completely different. I personally think when it comes to therapy, you just want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're thinking for yourself. And you know what I mean? And when I say thinking for yourself, you guys, It's more so like when it comes to therapy, you just don't want to become a crutch to therapy. And the reason I say that is because at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions and you have to move forward, and you have to, like, nobody can think for you at the end of the day. Like, even though you're in therapy, like, you know what I mean? Let that be your supporting aid to get you whatever you need. Like I said, that was my example why I went to therapy. But let that be your supporting aid to get you what you need. You see what I mean? Like, when you do things for yourself that you know you need, like, I knew for me, I needed a sense of connection. I just didn't, like I said, I grew up, I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anybody I could connect to or, like, talk to. So it got to a point where I was like, dude, I need this, right? This is what my soul needs. Like, I need to connect with somebody, like, you know, so that was my reason. So when you are in need of something and you meet that need, I really do feel like that's a form of self-love, and that develops a sense of trust within yourself, because you know at the end of the day, you're going to be good, right? Because you can take care of yourself. So that's just kind of my whole rundown there. But yes, when it comes to validation, you need to be validated within yourself. And I think the only way to really validate yourself is to spend time with yourself. I was in seasons where, I'm always in seasons where I'm making a lot of decisions, and I'm making a lot of hard decisions, right? Because I'm young, but at the same time, I'm a visionary. I have plans. God has a calling over my life, and I understand my purpose. So I'm always making decisions, right? And I was in a season where I was a lot of hard decisions that needed to be made. And so, you know, I was talking to people around me. I actually did end up getting out of my comfort zone and, like, reaching out to people, but I just did not feel like I could really confide in these people. You know, I felt like, you know, I was waiting on God, like, you know, so it was just one of those, it was just really tough. It was a tough waiting season for me. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I did need some validation because I felt like I was getting an understanding, but I wasn't sure. I was doubting myself. So, yeah, we need validation 100%. Don't listen to what social media says. That's irrelevant. People don't do things without a sense of validation. You think a person will, like, keep making videos for, like, 8 years without someone saying good job? You know what I mean? No. People get online and they see comments and they see people who are like, man, you inspired me. That's validation. That's beautiful. You know what I mean? Now, of course, within yourself, you got to know, hey, I'm starting this because I want to inspire people, right? But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about overall. Okay? So just putting that out there. So yeah, you guys, this whole no role models things is a real thing. And you know, when I think about it, I just thought about J. Cole's song, and I don't even think that I feel like I know I listened to it, but, like, the lyrics can't come to me right now. It's, like, mad late. But you guys, this is a real thing. You know, this is the pandemic. Like, for real. I don't even know if pandemic is the word, but this is a crisis. Okay, it's real out here. Like, step up, be a better person for yourself, be a better person for your little cousins. Because let me tell you something, it's sad to see. It really is. Because I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through if it wasn't for the people who went ahead of me and are still making those same decisions because they didn't want to grow up and they didn't want to make certain decisions. And I think about people who got it way harder than me and who don't have a level of self actualization or, like, accountability. You know, I'm very blessed, but, like, people who don't have that, you know what I mean? And who don't have anybody, you see what I mean? Like, it's always way worse for somebody else. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, so just being able to empathize in those situations, like, we need role models. We need people to guide us in this life, because you don't have people out here like that. You know what I mean? And it's just really sad. And so step up. I knew for myself, like I said, talking about past things like that, I think that is just nothing more than just negative energy, and it's not what God wants for you. It's not God talking to you like that. You know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like at the end of the day, get yourself together. Get yourself together. Nobody can do that for you, you know. And honestly, let me say this too before I wrap up. Everybody is not called to be a role model. Everybody don't need to be a role model. So please understand that too. Like, I know we get on the people in the media. Y'all gotta understand, like, a lot of these rappers, these girls are the same age as you and I, honey. They are young. Okay, they are young, they are living, and they don't have role models either. You know what I mean? They don't have role models either. And then you have people who, you know, are in a space where they're older and they're like older women. And yeah, some of them are role models, some of them are not. Me personally, Oprah's my role model. I love Oprah. Like, she's sickening. You know what I mean? I can't even describe Oprah as sickening. I can only describe her as, like, sophisticated and elegant and, like, you know what I mean? So poised and classy and smart and just beautiful and intelligent and just all of those things, right? Like, I can't even, like, put her in that category with all the, you know what I mean? Like, I have to come correct, you know, because I respect her. And so, but even still, in that's hard too, right? But At the end of the day, everybody's not called to it. So, let's not try to put that on people, because some people genuinely do not need to be role models. I am not saying this is a one size fit all, honey, because I genuinely do not believe that everybody needs to be a role model. And, even for myself, it's continuous cultivation. Like, I still have things I'm working on, but I know within myself, within my heart, like, this is my purpose. This is what God is calling me to do. It's the one thing that I'm very passionate about, and I'm totally inspired to take action. So, this is a real thing. This is the real thing. Figure out what it is that you're very passionate about and take action. Seriously, take action. And understand too, you guys, like, you may not always be ready, but just hang with it and start somewhere and just let God work on you and cultivate you. You know what I mean? Another thing too, I had to learn from myself, and I'm going to wrap up for real this time. But one of the things I learned about myself, and I hope that this touches somebody who just needs that push, right? I would always do this thing where I would stand behind people. And when I say stand behind people, like, I was always the person behind the scenes. I was comfortable there. I stayed there. I used to have this mentality of, like, I need to work to get to that place to be frontline. Like, I need to work to get to frontline. I need to put in the work. I need to put my head down. I need to grind. I need to just work hard. I need to just follow the leader, right? Because I wanted to be in that position. Like, I need to just play my role. Well, honey, let me tell you, it never worked out. And and the reason why I finally have a revelation, a revelation, and I understand why it's never worked out. And the reason being is because, sweetheart, I was never called to stand back there. I was always looking for ways to do things better. I always saw where the leaders in front of me had fallen short, and, like, they didn't really want it. They weren't really called to it. I had to understand, and I think a lot of people need to understand this too, you guys. Some people just do things because they can. I was in a boutique today, and I'm looking around like, what on God's green earth that I stumble up in? And I'm just saying, you guys, like, I really feel like we have to stop this. We have to stop doing things because we can. Do things because you're called to it. You're talented in that area. You're gifted in that area. You can use your gifts and your talents in that area. Like, everybody don't need to do certain things. No, absolutely. You're not, that's not the calling on your life. And let me tell you how you know you don't need to be doing something just because you're doing it, but you shouldn't be doing it. Let me tell you, you're doing something just because you can and not because you're called. Hello. Girl, that's a meme. Okay, hold up. Earth and Zen's coming through with the marketing. Let's go, Jalen Leslie. You're doing something because you can, not because you're called, when you're really bad at it and you're not really getting the results that you want. Let's just keep it a bug. Like, I think it comes a point where there's consistency and there's work ethic. And then there's just kind of like a point where it's like, oh, maybe you're just not called to that. And I just think that that's where people have to kind of wake up and understand, like, you're not called to that. You're just doing it because you can, but you're not really good at it. Like, you kind of suck, but you're doing it. You know what I mean? You're doing it, but you suck. And you're not doing it at the level that you could do it, and in the level that God can bless it if you would just do what it is that you're called to do. Okay? So, doing certain things, it seems easy. Like, it seems like it's an easy thing to do. Oh, man, just start this website, or, oh, man, just start this coaching business. But if you're doing it on that level, honey, I don't know. And also, too, like, don't ever be afraid to move to new things. Like, I talked to you guys about that in that last episode about failing. Like, fail forward. Go on to the next thing, honey. I personally am multi-talented, and I'm very blessed for that. And, but there are people who have multi-talents. Like, you may be really smart. I don't know what people think. Like, I think a lot of times we put such a negative emphasis on college and education. You guys, hear me clearly. Some people are smart as heck. Like, you need to be a surgeon. You need to be up in there hitting them books. You need to be the one who's flying the plane up at Delta. Because, honey, they got people up in there. They pulling off the planes for being alcoholics, honey. Yes. Did y'all hear about that? Oh, man, I don't want to scare you because, honey, I love Delta. That's the only airline I fly through, girl. I can't do nothing else, honey. That just gives me anxiety. But That's a real thing. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people have to understand that you don't always have to do what other people are doing. You know what I mean? Just because you can start a business doesn't mean that you should. Doesn't mean you're called to start a business. Doesn't mean you're called to start a nonprofit. Doesn't mean you're called to start a coaching business. Doesn't mean you're called to be a speaker. Doesn't mean you're called to be a writer. Doesn't mean you're called to be a painter. Like, honey, listen, I love my paintings. I really do. I think that they're really dope. They're very unique. I have so much fun with it. I love seeing the art. But I've seen some painters. Oh, I've seen some painters, and this ain't comparison. This is just callings, honey. And I say, wow, like that, like somebody did that. Somebody can paint that, and I look at mine. It's nowhere near. Like I said, it's cute. It's cute. They're good. They're good. I personally, I love my paintings. I think that they're fabulous. I think they're unique. I think if I conjured up something, I can like manifest some deals and do all these things. But I only paint because I enjoy it. I paint because I can, and I paint because it's fun. I don't paint because I'm called, and that's all I do, live, breathe, sleep, and you know what I mean? I'm not telling any stories. I'm just painting some ideas. You know what I mean? I'm just putting some art up in my apartment because I love it. You know, it's fun. I'm just creative. I've always loved painting. When I was younger, I always remember just taking my fingers and being in the paint when I was a kid. You know, that's just a part of me that's just still there. But see, I'm not going to go and start painting, because I'm not called to do that. You see what I mean? So let's just be honest about the things that we're called to do and accept that. And accept that you do have a calling on your life, honey. You're not here for no reason. And people don't understand that. So don't be afraid to change paths. Don't be afraid to do something differently. Like, I have tried many different things, and I'm wise enough, and I understand when something's not working. I understand when I've tried really hard and it's just not working. That's just not what I need to be doing. That's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay to fail, but fail forward and fail right into your purpose, honey. Fall right on up in there and just pray. God will guide you. You know what I mean? But the beautiful thing about doing things and trying and moving on to the next thing, when you understand it's not working, or when you're honest with yourself and you know you don't have a calling in that area, the good thing is you get to a space where you're like, oh my gosh, like, I have learned so many new things, and I've met so many cool people, and I've had so many dope experiences, and I'm living such a full life, and I'm reaching my capacity, and I'm developing confidence because I'm trying all of these things. And even though I may be good at them, that doesn't mean I'm called to it, right? Or even if I'm bad at them, I just tried something new, and I'm expanding my mind. I'm healthy. My vitality is like thriving. I'm vibrant. I'm radiant. Okay. You see what I mean? So don't be afraid to try new things. I think sometimes people hang on to stuff too long, honey, because they're trying to be consistent and persistent. No, you, sir, need to go out there and find that cure for this COVID, because you smart. Okay, you be in the lab mixing. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know, some people are called to be a chemist. You out here supposed to be curing whole bodies, and you out here trying to, sell some TVs or so. I don't know. I just, or out here trying to be, you out here trying to be a teacher when you're supposed to be a cook. You got recipes that's like, we ain't never heard of that. And trust me, with this whole new vegan thing, me and my aunt had went to this restaurant. It was like vegan barbecue something. It was like vegan Q. That's what it was called. It was like veggie Q. And it was like slop on a bun. It was like mushrooms and things like that. And it was a very interesting combustion, I will say. It was like a very detailed and sentimental like concoction. It was interesting. And it was nice. It was warm in my belly. I loved it. I didn't feel sick after. That's the beautiful thing about being a vegetarian. I always feel so fulfilled after my meals. I feel loved. I feel the energy sometimes, not all of them. But anyways, we need new recipes. Like, the world, if you guys haven't noticed, we're moving in a completely new direction, honey. Nobody's out here scoffing down the pigs and the chickens. Now, some people still are, and I have I'm not opposed, because honestly, I remember this one year, the first year that I had decided to become a vegetarian. It was so funny. I literally relapsed, honey. Went to Chick-fil-A. When I tell you, I scarfed down that chicken sandwich. I used to love the spicy chicken, honey. That number 5, or was it number 6? I think it was number 5. Number 5, number 8, number 7, one of them. I think it was number 5 though. I killed it. Like, when I tell you I killed it, like, I murdered that chicken sandwich. And do you know, like, right after that, I felt so sick. I felt like crap. And then it was like another time that summer, my grandma had made some ribs. I was like, one can't hurt. Killed it. and it killed me nearly. I was feeling I was about to die. So, and I was telling you guys that too, like in the last episode, don't ever be afraid to start something new and just stick with it. Like sometimes when you're trying to change and do something new, like it's just, we're so habitual sometimes, and we create routines for ourselves. So we kind of like relapse. You got to move forward, keep moving forward. Don't give up on yourself. Like keep moving forward. You can totally do it. Don't give up on yourself. So that was just my funny story about that time when I tried to do that. But I'm at this point, I'm like losing my train of thought. But yeah, you guys, so try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new. Stick with it, and just know like you're called to do something on this earth. You know what I mean? Like, and make sure that people talk about having pure intentions. I personally, I'm not really a talker. Like I'm record a 30-minute podcast and say I'm not a talker. I am a talker and I love speaking, but I need people to understand, like, I'm not I'm more so like, I like to, look, I'm about it. All right. You know what I mean? I don't really like to talk. Like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to just show up, so develop that. I think that's a really cool trait to have, honestly. Like, I feel like for myself, I don't waste my time explaining to people and like, you know what I mean? Like, no, just, hey, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, listen, stop doing things because you can. Do things because you're called, and watch how your life change, and follow God, man. Like this whole, I get it. Like I get it. I really do. Like the whole universe thing. Like I get it. I get it. I really do. I'm not opposed. Like I understand. But at the end of the day, God is your anchor, and you need something that can really anchor you. Like you really need something in your life that is going to ground you. You need to believe in something higher than yourself. Okay, you need to be able to rely on something higher than yourself, and you need to trust that you're protected. I don't really feel like you can move through, like, I don't know how people do it. Some people have a different whatever. I don't even really care to understand. Like, I'm not gonna say I don't care to understand it. I'm saying I don't really care to like get into that, because personally, everybody has different beliefs. I'm just not here to really go there. Like, I'm just talking about what I believe. So, hey, it is what it is. I'm not here to convert anybody. I don't really care, quite honestly. Like, I respect it. You know what I mean? Like, I respect that people have different views and things like that, but I just genuinely don't care to even really sit and like, I just feel like you need to, no, whatever. Like, I have my experiences, I have my beliefs, you have yours. There's respect there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just maturity personally. But you need, like, I personally, like, having God, just knowing that God is like watching over me, and God is within me, and God is here with me, and like that to me gives my life a completely different meaning. You know what I mean? That to me gives me a completely different level of peace, strength, and confidence. I need to know that I can rely on something, and I need to see it in a tangible sense to know that like God is definitely watching over me. You know what I mean? And so, listen, I don't know what you believe, but rely on your faith. You know what I mean? Rely on that. Like, for people who do believe in God, like, rely on God. You know what I mean? Because he will definitely direct your paths, and it's beautiful. It really is. And so anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm so excited. We're at 27 minutes. I typically don't make podcasts this long, and y'all got to bear with me. Like, it's so much noise in the background. I got some like chakra music on YouTube here. We've got the freaking air conditioner over here, like the ceiling fan. It's just a lot of noise. I'm recording this like really late, but I had coffee today, and I'm learning from myself when it comes to coffee. I can't really get jiggy with it. Like, I do like coffee. Like, I really do. Like, I feel like it's really cool. I like to get my day started with the coffee, but I just, when I have coffee sometimes, I don't sleep. I don't sleep at all. But I was listening to Wayne Dyer, he was just telling me like, hey, at the end of the day, you only need 4.4 hours. So whatever. All right, you guys, I hope everybody has an amazing day. Go out there and be excellent. Pursue excellence, okay? If you are a role model, be a role model. Show the kids something. Lead differently. Do it differently. You're going to feel a lot better, because you're going to feel like you're making a difference in the world, and that is what your soul needs. That is what we're here for, people. Wake up, all right? Stop doing stuff because you can, and do it because you're called. All right, you guys, we're going to leave you guys with your thoughts, and I hope everybody has an amazing day. Be excellent. If you could be anything else, you can't be anything else but excellent. Okay, over here, Earth is the end is excellence. Okay, we're equating that to that, right? Okay, whatever. Have a good day. I'm gonna leave you guys with your thoughts, and be excellent. Okay.